All right, now let us briefly see how we can actually whitelist only certain file extension into our application. That is, we can actually configure Apache Web Server to specifically allow only certain file extensions on its, you can say, run. So this will actually help us a lot to basically whitelist some of the extensions on our web server. So this will eventually protect our application. So finally, you can say ultimately depending on your application that has been created, it can be on any programming languages. So what actually is needed is you need to have proper evaluation with the, you can say, developers, that what file extensions are there and what file types can be allowed and what cannot be allowed to basically reduce the attack surface for the application. So whitelisting will go a long way rather than blacklisting anything. So for instance, if our application has only working extension for file types like HTML, CSS, JS, PHP, etc., something like that, then actually you should ensure that only these extensions are allowed and processed by the web server. So this will actually reduce the dumping of unwanted files by users of any sort for abusing the application. So that is a good practice that can be followed. So let us first see how actually we can check for the file extensions that our application currently has and that is running. So let us have a look and we will be seeing how actually we will first enumerate the file extensions in our applications with this command. So sudo command seeing, yeah. So these are basically the extensions that application is having for the specific folder that I have queried. So we actually intuitively will know that what are the allowed extensions that we need to process and we need to allow that. So we will be making some changes in the Apache configuration file with, you can say, with reference to these extensions that our application is having, and we are allowing only those extensions into our application. So that will be basically a good practice to start with. So let us first move on to our Apache configuration file. So let us make some changes here. Files match directive here that we just recently saw. Yeah, like this here in files match directive, and we will put another directive same like this, files match directive, and we are explicitly telling that we need to first disallow all the extensions first. Next directive we will put to allow only specific extensions in the on the application. So files match. So there we are. So we can actually, in this way, we can set up this directive. So that was about how actually we can whitelist specific directives on our Apache Web Server configuration, on our Apache Web Server's installation. Let us have a look on how actually we can set up Apache server against clickjacking or browser framing attacks. Now first let us see how a browser framing actually looks like. So I have a demonstration page set up for a reference. So let me just open this page and I will just open this for you right now. So this is how actually browser framing looks like, and let me just show the, alright, so this is basically how your browser framing is. So basically I have just put an iframe here and the page that is loading from here. So basically this is actually you can say very you can say primitive type of thing that actually an attacker can do. So there are lots of, you can say, other manifestations that can be done and to cheat the user if they don't know what is happening. So sometimes overlays might be done and to perform some malicious action. That is also possible. Okay, so more information I will be providing in the description section for the reference. You can even also try the Portsfigure Labs. that how these attacks can be sophisticated and they can actually do a lot of damage, seemingly you can say funny type, but still they can be dangerous also. So to counter this, there is a very simple directive that you need to be adding to the setting it to your web server, and your problem will be solved within a fraction of second. So there is a header basically that is set from server side that is called the xframe options header, that needs to be set in the response header. So by default, basically this option is disabled. So first we need to be making sure that there is a module called mod headers that needs to be enabled, and then make the changes accordingly. The first check if our mod headers module is enabled or not. So obviously let us see what would happen. Let us see now. So headers module, basically we have checked on both the side, basically the header modules is not enabled. So first we need to enable this headers module first, then only we will be able to implement this security mechanism. So this is actually very easy, sudo a2. So it is enabled, and we need to first restart our Apache service. So our headers module has been enabled. Now actually we need to go to the security configuration file and enable the xframe options header. So let us go there. Okay, so conf enable is there. So we need to check for the security.conf file, sudo nano security.conf. There is our xframe options header that need to be set. Headers we have to set xframe options to same origin. So basically this will prevent from happening this browser framing, and we need to restart Apache service. Now let us see, has it actually worked or not. So let us refresh this page again. There we go. So our basically this problem is solved, that browser your website cannot be framed, or pages cannot be framed in the browser. So this will actually make your web application and server more secure against these sorts of attacks. All right. Okay, now let us discuss a little bit about a very important topic that is often overlooked and not considered important. That is basically the logging part. So here actually we need to check and discuss something about setting up correct logging levels by Apache web server. So it is very important that if you are running a server in production systems, and if logging is not properly enabled, and basically you have not set up logging properly, so you won't be having an idea that if someone is trying to hack into the website or trying to do something malicious. Have a look at the Apache configuration file, and then we will talk. Okay. Let us have a look at about the logging levels that have been default setup, and we will talk a little bit about that here. So log level, basically it is by default, that is log level that is set to 1. There are log levels from, you can say, trace 8 till trace 1, and then going to debug, info, notice, warn, error, critical, alert, emergency. Now whenever you are setting up, you can say, more and more towards the trace higher number side, that means your logs will be generated in a more, you can say, more verbose logs will be there. So say for example, let us put an instance here that I am setting the log level to info. So if I'm putting the log level to info, then all the levels of logging, that is starting from info, then notice, warn, error, critical, alert, emergency, everything will be included. So actually you should be taking into consideration that if you are setting it to warn, then also it is okay, but it is recommended to set it to one level up, that is from informational level. So that is the thing that I want to convey here, and some more points that you need to understand, that in case if you have sufficient space, whenever I'm talking about the log level of info, if you have proper sufficient space to store logs, and basically these logs are being monitored by any automated solution, then it is highly recommended to put the log level to informational. This basically will generate more logs, more entries, but actually you can say the good thing is that you will be able to get a better visibility on what is happening on the server. However, you will be needing to set up proper monitoring criteria based on an application that is hosted on the web server. So yes, if you are monitoring it, so you need to have proper, you can say, queries for them, and based on that actually you can get more, you can say, proper data for your log events that are happening. So you can also set up logging levels for different modules like log level, notice, core, info. Basically I will be showing you what actually I do mean by that. So this will make sure that log level will be staying to at a one level for one module and for other level to other module. We actually need to make sure that Apache config file has set proper error log and access log directives also. So this basically, if we are putting here let us put here that log level here we are putting it to 1. Now if you want to put, we can actually put into info here also if you want. Then also if you want, we can put into this manner also. So we are putting here 1. So in case we want to put here a second level of you can say logging for a specific module. So here if I am telling that if I am putting log level to 1, and for core module that are there for the Apache service, I will put into, say for example, info. If I am putting SSL modules, so for SSL also, so I can put directives specifically to those modules also, I can set them. So based on my need, actually I have to evaluate my needs also. So this is how actually you can go about getting into the logging part, and first configuring proper logging levels. That is very much important and vital. Let us move to another part. So now the next another important piece of logging that is to be checked and set for Apache logging is for actually checking for the access logs setup and what are the fields that are logged in the access log. Basically the Apache access logs contains very valuable details and information on access of web application resources, like basically which was the page that was you can say requested from the remote end, what was the result of that, and what was the request that was passed to that page, and much more like that. So in most of the cases, the access logs do store this information quite effectively, and just take a few moments just for the sake of, you can say, enhancing our knowledge on that. Yeah, here. So this basically, so let us first, the log format basically that has been defined here. So we will actually see parameter by parameter that what actually this H, V, P, L, H, basically these are actually. So I will just quickly revisit them for you. Most of the viewers might be knowing this also, but still for whom basically this is actually new for them. So let us have a look at what are the basically logging formats here. So most common log format that Apache is configured is the common log format, that is the CLF. So the log format pattern here is %H, that represent the remote host that is trying to connect to the application. So it will, in most cases, it will be the IP address. Next would be the remote, that will be the %L here. So that will be the remote log name. Next would be %U, which is basically remote user, if the request was at all authenticated. Next basically comes is the %T here. So time that was at which the request was received. And here this %R is basically the requested resource with the method basically. So what page was you can say requested by the remote end. So was it about us, contact us, something like that. And basically the what was the method with which it was actually requested. Next is the %S, that is basically the status of the request. So that is one thing. Next is so here the %O here is basically here %O, that is basically for the bytes that have been sent, including the headers. So this may be 0 in rare cases, such as when the request was aborted before the response was sent, something like that. So O is basically how much the bytes were sent. So that was the, you can say, the common log format. And basically in this way actually it is basically by default it is capturing, you can say, the most relevant information that is required. And this basically, depending on your installation, you can actually change also if you want. So for more information, actually you can refer to the Apache 2 documentation for the specific server version, and you can do accordingly. So in most cases this is actually okay, and this is actually pretty standard. So depending on the virtual hosts that have been set up on a web server, you need to set up logging accordingly, and specifically to that, you can say, your virtual host. So as I told, your Apache's documentation will be helpful to you. So it can also happen that different people might have access to the logs for their specific application, so they can set up their own log monitoring systems. So here, as a baseline, we will need to ensure that logging is enabled for both error and access logs, and all the required fields in the logs have been enabled.